It isn't my office. We are asked is to.
You have.
Yes, you can proceed. I think they will.
No, those people
Order. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. So there is no need, Honorable Jendi, sir. There is no need for a point of order because this is just telling you that there are actually 4 arms of government. The 4th arm, don't stop me, let me say it. The 4th arm is the Teacher Service Commission, which is an independent commission, and she has also said so. So I'm coming here because I represent government, but not because I'm in charge of Teacher Service Commission. That's all that is in this document. And with your kind permission, Mr. Chairman, sir, having listened to the presentation...
Point of order.
What's out of order?
No, what is out of order is that the CS is addressing just a member, not the chair.
Sure.
For the sake of good management of our meetings, you could correct that. Thank you.
Yes, that's actually not Honorable Boko Milemba. I think the CS has indicated all issues are addressed through the chair, but not individual members.
Mr. Chairman, I'm addressing you and I'm referring to the presentation of Honorable Kolosh.
Proceed now.
If that is not in order, then there's nothing I'm going to say.
No, it is in order.
Yes,
but,
I wanted to start by saying that everything that Kolosh said is correct, except a very cunning omission of the fact that teachers died. Kenyans died. And those Kenyans died there, and he knows, and it would have been better if it was also included in his presentation. That's point number 1, Mr. Chairman. Number 2, with your kind permission once again, I would like to state that the TSC CEO has given us a very good historical perspective. And I would like to be identified with those because I would want to say that policy of government is to treat every child in exactly the same way and to provide that child with security and to make sure that teachers are posted to all parts and corners of this country. That is the government policy, and that's what I'm supposed to implement. Now, having listened to the security gentleman on my left, with your permission, then we begin to understand that this is not a problem you can solve here in this committee room. This problem requires that we go to the ground, and I think the leaders to take us there are the honorable members of parliament from the affected areas, because life is life. So as that motion is going on, in order to cut a long story short, Mr. Chairman, I would urge that you consider the way forward provided by the Teacher Service Commission, and also add one more. And I would like to be very clear. I'm being told that we have a total of 24,058 ladies and gentlemen from Wajir, Garissa, and Mandera who got seaplane. And there is no reason why we should not get these people to apply and be taken.
Honorable CS, let me just give you a guide.
Is that I'm too strong?
No.
Because I'm the only one they are stopping.
No. It isn't that. It is because you gave us a document which either you are not reading it and you have different information that we do not have. You know, by orders of this House, Honorable CS.
I then restrict myself.
Yes, that is it. That's it. Yes, proceed. Because... yes?
I have finished.
Or you are through with your presentation?
Because you don't want me to give an opinion.
No.
If this is a round table,
yes,
I am thoroughly entitled to give you an opinion. But if you don't want me to give it, it's also fair enough.
No. CS, it isn't about not allowing you. It is just guiding you that you are quoting a figure, which is also good for us to have it and know.
Chairman,
yes.
As a practice, probably the professor needs to know that the rules in the House is that when you do a presentation, you go through them by reading, And then whatever you want to add,
You give an opinion.
on an opinion, you do it later after you have read your presentation.
That's it.
That's probably
Let
what the
me
good
read what
professor.
you want me to read, and I will rest my case there.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, the questions by honourable member present issues that I wish to identify and respond with as follows. Question number 1, on the issue of legal mandate over teacher transfer. The teacher crisis, as identified by the honourable member, is as a result of the transfer of teachers from northeastern region on account of security concerns. This is a matter which falls squarely under the mandate of the Teacher Service Commission. The Teacher Service Commission, which is established under Article 237(1) of the Constitution, is empowered under Article 237(2)(d) with a mandate of promotion and transfer of teachers. Number 2, on the issue of employment of teachers. Mr. Chairman, on the issue of teacher employment, the Teacher Service Commission is empowered under Article 237(2)(b) of the Constitution of this country with a mandate of recruitment and employment of registered teachers. Number 3, on the issue of independence of constitutional commissions. Mr. Chairman, the Teacher Service Commission, which is one of the 10 constitutional commissions, as provided under Chapter 15 of the Constitution, is independent as per Article number 249(2)(b), which provides that the commissions and holders of independent offices are independent and not subject to direction or control of any person or authority. Conclusion, Mr. Chairman. The above presentation on the exclusive legal mandate of Teacher Service Commission over the issues raised by honourable member is therefore indicative of the fact that as Cabinet Secretary, I am not empowered in law to make any decision on issues raised, and neither am I empowered to intervene on issues that fall within the mandate of an independent constitutional commission. The concerns by the honourable member should therefore be referred to Teacher Service Commission, and I think the Teacher Service Commission CEO has made an exemplary presentation. Now, if you do not want my input, then I rest my case there.
Honourable CS, we really welcome your input. Well done, and now you can give us, if you still have any more input you want to add, that's okay.
Kind indulgence, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I hope your members will not put point of order again.
No. You are still on the floor.
Is that, with all due respect, in Garissa, for example, between 2015 and 2019, there are 9,427 candidates who scored C plane. In Wajir, between 2015 and 2019, there are 6,941 candidates who scored C plane. And finally, sir, in Mandera, between 2015 and 2019, there are 7,690 candidates who scored C plane, giving us a total of 24,058. And my plea, whether it is misplaced, should be recorded, that all the energetic members from the northern region should identify some of these students to be quickly trained so that they can be posted there in the medium term. I rest my case, Mr. Chairman.
That's a very, very good observation, Waziri. That's good. Now, honourable members, as I directed you earlier on, now I want to open the floor for ventilation.
You open the floor, just like a clarification.
No, first of all, we shall allow you, Honourable Kolosh.
Yeah.
You are the first person to do that. So I would request that Honourable Kolosh to make his presentation or ventilation, and officers who are here, kindly note them down. After Honourable Kolosh, you will just respond straight away to him, and thereafter now I'll open to the committee members, and lastly to the friends of the committee, and we finalize this. I hope at the end of our discussion, honourable members, and the way Waziri is talking about it, there is some good hope at the end of the tunnel, especially with these 24,000 people out there, it looks like we are going to solve this problem. Not anywhere else, but I hope in this room. It's not going to be outside this room. Thank you. Let's proceed. Honorable Kolosh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a few things first to bring out before I go into the specifics about what the CEO has raised and the IG. Of course, the minister has exonerated himself. The first thing is that if you look at my statement on question 3, I asked whether the Office of the Inspector General has been consulted. And it is the Office of the Inspector General, whether the Office of the Inspector General has given that there is a security threat in place X, Y, for reasons of withdrawal. Because the issue of security lies with the Office of the Inspector General. So I have not heard it from both the TSC and the IG that there was an official communication provided by the IG on the issue of security, because that is part of the question, I mean the statement I have raised. So probably in the course of answering, they will take note into that. Now, we are not
giving the first
yes.
for the petitioners.
Yes. And again, I did not raise, just for record, because the CEO has said that I inquired on these statements from 2012. It is not true. That nowhere in my statement I have referred to years back in 2012. Now, I will categorize my questions to the IG and the Inspector General. And the CEO. To the Inspector General, did you give a security advice or an analysis of risks? Because if you look at the presentation of the CEO, and it's good she listens, on the hearing of the Senate, she was told transfer of teachers on case-by-case basis. So if probably, I want to ask this, the IG, whether you have given security advice on the specifics areas that are under threat, or that question is done. Number 2, where did you bring the statement you have said that Kamude is 500 kilometers from the border? Or whether that was just a slip of the tongue, or whether it's a fact that Al-Shabaab have walked all the way from the border to a 500 kilometer anywhere you can quote in the entire region. Number 3, as the IG, you have said that this is not a risk faced by teachers alone. It's also faced by officers, by your officers. Is it true that only the non-local officers are affected in your case? Because I know of 8 local security officers killed one day in the constituency of my colleague, Rashid. So is it a threat faced by all the uniformed officers, or a threat faced by only the non-local uniformed officers? Number 4, and this is the last I have for the IG. In which case, for example, was teachers and non-local individuals, whether by security officers or whatever, hiding in the bush? And I thought the Al-Shabaabs are in the bush, not in the villages. So where is it accounted or documented that the non-locals, I expect teachers to be in a village, a town or something, where everybody else has run from the locality, except them? Do you have a report on a police station and where that has happened? Because I don't expect an entire village or town to migrate, whether children, teachers, and everybody, and only non-local. Did they not even see the movement of people? Because they live within the people. So which example can you give that happened? So I think with the IG, I finish.
Point of order. Maybe this
Yes,
will even assist CS because he thought this point of order is just a problem.
Yes, what's out of order?
The rule of relevance. You know, we are dealing with this matter holistically, but from the issues being raised by a colleague, honorable member, there are small questions that require investigation. 500 kilometers, hiding in the bush. So if we go like that, Chair, on the order of rule of relevance, we will not deal with the elephant in the house. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to say that surely the nitty-gritties raised will actually assist in handling the major issue. And what I will only want to ask the honourable member is that the very specific details will actually come from the IG as a report or as an answer directly one-on-one.
Yes.
Two, I will also want you to really reduce your questions and be very specific on time.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman.
Lastly, I think it is important to note that when we are prosecuting all the issues here, we do it through the chair, not like I'm asking.
Yes. That's true. That's true. Proceed.
Chair.
Let's allow Honorable Kolosh to raise the last questions, and then the officers respond, and then I open the floor. He has a question for TSC. How many questions?
Very few. They are not much.
How many?
I'll
give you 3 only.
Okay.
3.
You will allow me to make my statement before.
You can't be allowed a statement because Kolosh is on the floor. Either if there is an issue. Yes, what's out of order?
Yes, Chair, I'm feeling like we may want to. Yes, you have ruled, Chair, that some of the details may help us have the issues being addressed in a more better and organized way. But I think, Chair, listening to
it's out of order.
Yes,
Professor,
what's out of order is to bring in matters that may not necessarily be falling and addressing, be falling within the list of the questions that have been asked. That is likely to, at the end of it, have as underrate the seriousness of this matter.
Yes, thank you. I think on that particular matter, let me just guide members under the rule of relevance that the matter shall be discussed within the content of the question. However, the member, as per our supplementary order, by our standing orders, is also allowed to ask supplementary questions. So on that note, Honorable Kolosh is on order.
Thank you. And Chairman, I will prefer, as I prosecute this, that if there is any member who thinks I've gone out to quote specifically, so that I believe I have not said anything outside the presentation.
No, that's why the chair is giving you the
thank
floor.
you, sir.
And we only ask you 3 questions so that we
thank you, sir. You know, Chair, Northeastern as a region is 127,358 square kilometers. And there are regions or constituencies it cannot be a lump sum of security unless that security. So I wanted to ask
Honorable Kolosh.
Yes.
I want to just point to you. What is the question?
Yes, I wanted to ask the CEO, where are the specific security threats faced by teachers or a teacher in those areas? Because security is a need for all of us.
Yes.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes.
I don't know, but I think, Mheshimiwa, I don't know, but I'm seeing on presentation number, page 14. I'm talking because I've been a victim.
Yes.
On page 14, because I buried 6 teachers in my constituency, it's so clear that on 13th, 3 teachers were killed. Is it not here? What am I seeing?
No.
On the 17th? And that's enough.
It's not enough. You know, you don't choose what is enough to my question. I said Northeastern is 127,000 square kilometers.
But Honorable
a
Kolosh,
teacher, Chairman, a teacher killed.
Order, Honorable Kolosh.
Or a Kenyan.
Order.
Yes.
Is it that the 6 teachers raised by Honorable Member is not enough?
No, it is
Yes,
not. Let me tell you, I sympathize with the killings of teachers.
Yes.
In fact, we have provided what we thought was an alternative solution so that no non-local teacher will be killed. And it is my position that whether a teacher or any other person, no Kenyan should be discriminated and killed. That is my position. But my analysis is
Sit now with your question.
the place where those teachers are killed can only be said at place X, sub-county X, where division X, but not Northeastern. Because Northeastern is a region bigger
We've
than
had you.
8.
Go
Yeah,
to the next
this is what
question.
I'm saying.
Go to the next question.
So I wanted to, because this is the question in the statement I asked, the specifics of the teachers killed and the specific security threats they faced, which I have not seen provided.
Proceed to the next one.
Yes. Then, on the issue of the teachers remaining, or the teachers who did not leave the area, is it the position of the CEO that there is no non-local teacher left in Northeast? And if there are some, why is it, what is the threat that those who left did not felt, and those who remained did not feel?
Thank you.
No.
Yeah, you through. You know, time is of essence, so Kolosh, I think you are the last one. Ask the last one.
Because the CEO has referred to institutions, including the Senate and the National Assembly. Those references were made on specifics. Even the court ruling, and I looked at it, ruled on restatements and not on transfers.
Thank you. Thank you. Open the floor. I'll ask the officers, because he's the petitioner, to expressly respond to him, and then I now open to the honorable members. Kindly, the concerned IG.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I would like to start with the first question from the petitioner, Honorable Kolosh, on the issue of the direction and advice from the IG. I want to make it very clear to this committee, honorable members. The security operations, the way they are constituted in these operational areas, they are very well structured. We have the multi-agency approach method on the ground. This multi-agency approach comprises all the security agencies on board. Any matter which needs advice to direct part of the institution, professions, and communities, it is advised on real time. I want this Honorable Chairman to Honorable Kolosh to understand the procedures of security. I will not be able to hold any information which is targeting a certain group and give it more than 24 hours before we advise the targeted teams. And this happens on hourly basis in operational areas. The advice on an attack, and this regard we are discussing about teachers. Any insecurity was being communicated on real time, and Madam CEO TSC has even put it. We have even cases of even request from the information from teachers coming that we provide security, which has been happening. It's very continuous. I will not be able to give a blanket advice. The multi-agency is structured from the ground, from sub-county, county, and region, and up to the NSAC. So first instance, the sub-county will communicate the advice accordingly. I wanted to make that clear to the petitioner so that he understands how we communicate the intelligence issues which requires immediate attention. But on the issues of the movement, as it has been narrated by the CEO, it was not any instruction given by
Point of order,
either
Chair.
parties.
Point of order.
Out of order.
The point of order is the question was specific. This withdrawal of teachers was across the whole of northern region. Is there any circular or advisory by the IG to that effect? It's either yes or no.
I want to give very specific because I have to be realistic. What triggered the movement of the teachers, there was no directive. It was following the attacks of the teachers.
I think you're in order, IG, and I think the IG is just very clear. And I think members, some of the issues raised by IG are actually institutional procedures from the sub-county, locational, all through. And he cannot just tell you today that there was this, there was that. I think he can be able to give us a clear record, the IG, if you are able.
And I'm going to put in writing.
Yes, you can put in writing on that.
I'll give that one in writing.
Yes, you can proceed.
With your permission, Chair, I would like to go to the error of 500. I didn't give as a fact 500. It just was to demonstrate the distance where Kamude and the border, just to give a realistic that it was a distance far from the border. But those are not accurate figures, and I will provide the figures, Honorable Chair. On issue of uniformed officers who have died in northeastern region, Chair, Honorable Chair, the police, we are deployed there to fight. We are not there like any other person. And actually where there is an attack, we are the respondent, number one. The issue of this is an local uniform officer or a local uniform officer does not rise in our organization because we are deployed as a team and we respond as a team. If any death occurs amongst the team, ni ile condition ya vita. It is not targeting a local or an non-local. It is police, National Police Service, who are on the ground fighting. And then the issue of the Kamudei, which I said there was information available to the locals apart from the teachers. Honorable Chair, Honorable Petitioner, Honorable Kolosh seeks a report, which I've said I'll provide a report later. Thank you.
CEO, what's out of order, Honorable?
I suggest, since the prime issue is the TSC, why can't we be able to take a number of issues before she responds?
No. She by procedure, the petitioner has a first response. Let's allow her to respond. And I want to advise members, kindly look into this document. Some of the questions we're asking have already been answered. So I really want you to really go through the document very clearly so that we don't waste a lot of time. Yes, CEO.
Chair, I won't go into the specifics of the teachers. I enumerated that very well in the historical background, specific cases, not general. But I also want to say that, just like I said, I want to reiterate that in the last 5 years we have lost 42 teachers. These attacks are sporadic. Then I think the other one that he asked about us is that why we withdrew teachers. Chair, I think again I answered, we did not withdraw teachers. In fact, as we speak, if you look at our table, we have non-local teachers still in the northeastern region. And we have appended actually sample letters of transfers. Any teacher who asks for transfer on insecurity, and it is there even in our code, health, insecurity, marital, and so on, the commission looks at those, and you will also get the report from the IG to show maybe why the teachers thought there was insecurity, because we work, TSC also works under the multi-agency governmental concerns and so on. So we did not transfer it. We did not withdraw. And then thirdly, Chair, we have to emphasize here that safety concerns of our employees, having learned lessons from the past, where we caused teachers to go back and they came back dead. is paramount to the Commission. Which employer does not care about its, the safety of its employees, and yet this is documented. If it is about, I don't know what was said about transfers, that the courts talked about reinstatement and so on, I want to read somewhere. The court did not only address itself to interdictions, it actually told us on page, this is page 130, 122 of the court orders that we were given, that we were restrained, yes, from interdicting, but we were also restrained from redeploying or reposting the non-local teachers to the northeastern region, including Madeira, Marsabit, Wajir, and Moyale, and so on and so forth. So we were not only restrained to interdictions. Actually, I said here, even though we were told that, we have still continued to employ teachers in the northeastern region because we are aware of the constitutional rights of the children in that area.
Now I want to open the floor to the honorable members. And honorable members, Honorable Bashir, Major Bashir is attending another committee meeting. I will allow him to ask questions with the committee members. So let me start with the Honorable Mboko Milemba, and Honorable Engineer, Honorable Soshon, Honorable Ro, all the way up to Honorable Bashir, and then Honorable Lokomuntare. Will other friends of the committee, you will ask later on. I want also to ask members, for purposes of guidance, at most 2 questions.
Very well.
At most 2 questions. And very specific. You
Chairman,
not want stories.
Chairman, I'll not let you down. I want to be very specific and also advise my colleague honorable members that I've never seen such an elaborate report from an agency, and most of the issues have been handled. So we are actually now faced with dealing with solutions. And most of our questions should be focused towards the solutions now. Otherwise, going for petty things, we shall take too much time. Meanwhile, let me ask the question. Number one.
You'll be guided. Nobody is asking anything petty.
I withdraw.
Yes.
Honorable Chair.
Yes.
Thank you. Number one, if this goes to the Teacher Service Commission, what would you advise this committee to do? If we were to open up, like it was almost suggested by the CS, that we train teachers with C who have qualified in those particular areas so that they can occupy those particular regions. In relation to the law that governs you, what would be your advice to us? Because I think when you retreat to do a report, we'd want to consider that. Number 2, it goes to the security, the IG. What steps have you put in place? Because you are the final person in terms of protection of not only teachers but also Kenyans, not only northeastern region but the entire Kenya. Which steps have you put in place to make sure that there is enough security in that region to allow education to continue? Thank you.
Zambia.
Thank you, Chair. I think that the report which has been tabled is very clear, and it is very unfortunate to learn that the non-locals have been killed, and have not had any of the locals who have not been killed. And I want to make a recommendation, sir.
Recommendation, some question. You are not doing a recommendation.
Okay. Security Council